and welcome to a new episode 3 of the Lekker podcast. I'm so happy that you are also watching. Thank you so much for all the positive comments on my second and my first podcast, all the love. I really, really appreciate that. So it's been a while since my episode 2 for the Lekker podcast. I've been away to Cape Town to visit my mom. I told you in the previous episode, if you haven't watched that, please do, that mom will be released from the rehabilitation hospital after her battle with COVID. So after so many days, I think it's 152 days, she was released from the rehabilitation hospital, and she came home. So it's still a long journey for us ahead. So it's so good for me to be back. I only arrived in Bloemfontein last night, and I have to say it's much, much colder than Cape Town. Alright, so if you want to follow me on my social media, you can find me as Made by Aline on Instagram, Made by Aline on Facebook, and Lady Aline on my Ravelry page or on Ravelry. So let's start. What am I wearing? I'm so happy to say this is one of my finished objects, and I absolutely loved making this shawl. This shawl is the Fuchsia Fishu from Mariana Miller. She is a South African crochet designer, and what a joy to crochet this piece. I took it with me to Cape Town. The first week for me being there, I didn't really get a lot of crocheting time. It was busy. But the second week of my visit there, I got a little bit of time to crochet. So I finished this. You will also see my other finished objects. And like I said, what a joy. I actually had this on the flight to Cape Town, crocheting on this, and then I finished it off in Cape Town. Alright, so let me show you. Isn't this just pretty? I just love this. So, you know when you travel you don't have all your things. So obviously I didn't have a blocking mat or blocking pins. So this is not even blocked yet. But yeah, I just have to wear it. It is super warm and super nice. And I'm really, really proud of this work. And Mariana, well done on a wonderful pattern. So the yarn that I used, let me just put it on again. I am recording later as usual, so it's getting dark in Bloem, and if it's getting dark, then it's getting cold. Right. The yarn I'm using is from Esteriza, or that I used is from Esteriza Yarn Creations. And I've used the Virgo base for this shawl. It's 100% superwash merino, 2-ply sock weight, and for 100 grams it's 300 meters. So I have quite a bit of this color left, the speckled yarn, and then a little bit of this purple blue color, and then just a little bit of this, what do you call this color? Like a purple red wine merlot color, if I can say it like that. So I still have some left. I cannot wait to do something with that. But like I said, I haven't blocked this, so this will probably be blocked in the next week. And then I still have to take it out for beautiful pictures, to take some beautiful pictures of this beautiful shawl. So it hasn't been in the wash or anything like that, but it's so comfy and so soft and squishy, and just a dream. Lovely. Alright, so this is my first finished object for today. In my second week in Cape Town, I had much more time to spend with my mom, sitting next to her, crocheting and talking to mom. So that was just the best. And I managed to finish quite a bit of things. Right, let me show you my second finished object. As you know, I am a total fan of Tina's, and I'm not even going to try to say her surname, but Tina, the mosaic queen. She designs the most beautiful patterns. But she also does other patterns as well, like this amazing beanie that I made for my daughter. She's already used it in Cape Town a few times. So the yarn I used here was Blue Label Yarns, Bamboo, and Nurturing Fibers Ecofusion, which is a bamboo and cotton mix. I love to work with that base, a cotton and bamboo mix. It is just so dreamy to work with. Both Nurturing Fibers Ecofusion and Moya Shimmer. It's one of my favorite yarns to work with. So yeah, and then it just makes a very dreamy or a soft texture, which is lovely on your head, you know. It's, yeah. So this is the beanie I made for my daughter. I actually finished this just before our trip to Cape Town. So this is my second finished object. Then I finished my blanket, my pattern. And I'm so grateful because I started this in January and then I stopped when my parents got sick. And then I only managed to pick it up like a month ago. And it makes me happy that I'm done. So the only thing that is outstanding now is to finalize the pattern and to announce the date of when the cowl will start, how long it will run. So I'm super happy that I'm done with this. All right, so the last time we spoke, let me see. This is now the finished blanket. Let me show you the border. So it's a double-sided border, enclosed border, and the color work in the diamonds. So the last time we spoke, I was not even halfway. This is my progress keeper that I've received from Lynn from Crochet Classes Cape Town. Isn't this so pretty? It just match the rose color in the diamond block, you know. So I'm super, super excited when I finish this. So now I can finalize the pattern. It has really been weighing on me because I don't like unfinished things and I want to get it out there. It's a goal I've been setting for myself. So now I can finish it. It's a good feeling, you know, when you finish something that has been in your projects as a whip for such a long time. So yes, very proud of this pattern. And for me, I feel like it really represents South Africa in a bit. It's like the Springbok colors on our rugby team, like a golden green. But then it also looks like, for me, like a garden and the color splashes. So I would like to call this the fairy dust blanket. Yeah. And this is also my first piece that is at the back there. Yes, so very proud of this one. All right, I think that's all my finished objects. Today is going to be really a short one. I'm excited to have more things on the hook, you know, and on needles. Yes. All right, so let's start with whips, works in progress. I haven't touched, if you watched episode 1 and episode 2, I haven't touched my Thule blanket for my husband at all. So that for me now is really the one thing that I want to get a move on, because that blanket has been on the hook since mid last year. I put it down in summertime because it's too heavy and too warm to work with. Yes, too warm to work with. And so I picked it up now when the winter started again, and I really want to finish it for him. so that you can still use it when during this winter time. So yeah, and winter is probably about to turn again and getting warmer. But I think it's still going to be a little bit cold here in Bloemfontein for quite some time. Alright, so I haven't brought the Thule blanket up with me to show you because there's no progress. So it will just be not good to show you no progress. But let me show you the other whips I have. Alright, the first whip I have is my summer sock camp socks for 2021, which is hosted, the summer sock camp is hosted by the Crazy Sock Lady. I finished the first sock already for my husband. So I made the socks for my husband. Or, well, the first sock is done. So this is basically a half finished object, right? Right, there's the pins. I mark every 10 rows, and this really helps because then I can see how many. So I've done, the pattern is from the Crazy Sock Lady design. Vanilla. Oh, everything is now getting stuck here. Let me just save my yarn. What is happening? The pattern is from the Crazy Sock Lady designs, vanilla pattern on magic loop. That's the only method I know because I only started recently with sock knitting or knitting. So I've done 20 rows in knit one, pull one, and then I've done 40 rows on the leg. And there you can see I have Moya's stitch marker or progress keeper. Isn't that just the cutest? Wait, it's not showing properly. I just love this. So this was the last time we spoke. That is where I was. So I progressed quite a bit. And then if I remember correctly, from there it's 86 rows for his foot to have a perfect fit. Alright, so I finished this just before I went to Cape Town, and this I've done there. So I'm basically done. I need to start with the toes now. And I've realized today that I think my tension is a bit looser than it used to be. I don't know if it's like when you get used to a technique and you get better at it, if you are knitting looser. But for me, it feels like that. With crochet, it was the same. I was a very tight crocheter. The tension was really tight. And knitting in the beginning was horrible. I mean, you can remember when I told you about, or when I talked about my heel flap, which has been so tight. And it's already much looser. But now I realize I think my tension is getting looser and looser. So it's like a bit like a small difference between the foot of this sock and the foot of this sock. It's like, yeah, I don't know. There's a difference and it's worrying me a bit because I hope the socks will fit my husband now, you know, the second sock, because the first one I know does. So, but anyway, so I'm now at the point where I need to do decreases for the toes. So I'm almost done. I'll probably do this tomorrow and then it will be a finished object. Can't wait. Right, so that is my second whip. The yarn that I'm using is also from Teresa Yarn Creations. I'm a big fan. It's the Clio base, which is a 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's a 3-ply sock weight and you get 350 meters for 100 grams. So lovely to work with. I just love Teresa's yarn. It's a mother-daughter duo, Teresa and Esther. And it's so interesting to me because you can see the different personalities in the yarn. The one day I was at our local market, farm market, and Teresa was there with her yarns. And it's interesting to see the things that Teresa loves and the things that Esther loves, and it just works so well together. So yeah, I just think they are doing amazing work. All right, and then my project bag. I also bought this from Teresa Yarn Creations. I love coffee. I didn't bring anything today to drink because we're gonna braai soon, and in South Africa, braai is a thing. So my husband wants to celebrate that I'm back in the house. My daughter also went with me to Cape Town, so we are going to celebrate that tonight with a lekker braai. So I can't wait. So I didn't want to pack my stomach full with something to drink or something to eat today. Anyway, so I love coffee. So this project bag makes me so happy. And then the stitch markers that I use on my socks to mark every 10 rows, this bulb stitch markers, I've bought from Knotty Habit. If you haven't been on Knotty Habit's website, please go and do so. Please visit them. There's amazing things. The one thing I still want to get myself is sock blockers. I need sock blockers. I haven't blocked my other pair of socks yet because I don't have sock blockers. Sock rulers, nice, very nice. I should have actually brought it up, but I didn't. I'll show you maybe in a future episode. But I've bought this from them, and then obviously Knotty Habit makes also, they dye the most beautiful yarns. So please go and visit Knotty Habit as well as Teresa Yarn Creations. Right, so that is my second whip. So I'm almost basically done with this. In Afrikaans, we would say, dis op die hond se stert, meaning at the dark style, or on the dark style, meaning at the end of the piece, so you're almost there, almost done with your project. Right, then, while I was in Cape Town, finishing off, my blanket was finished, my shawl was finished, I started with also a very special project. And for a while I couldn't touch that yarn. I think I've shown you the yarn in the previous episode. So I've shown you the waiting blanket that I made for my mom and to give to her as a present on her release from the hospital. So I gave that to her. There is a picture on my Instagram if you want to have a look, with the blanket on her lap. And but the day that I bought the kit for my mom, I also bought a kit for my father. And then my father passed. I couldn't touch the yarn, and only now in Cape Town I took the kit with me to Cape Town, and now I started with the kit. So I'm gonna make that blanket for myself. So it's like a gift from my father to me, I think. Well, that's how I see it. So yes, I was strong enough to start the blanket. So I only had one square. I'm done with one square. The kit you can buy at a Freak Yarn, so it's Moya Yarns, and they're on a Freak online store. The kit's name is Raw Rustic Blues, and I don't know why there's such a big gap there at the one stage. I thought maybe I did training there wrong, but I didn't. Anyway, and one of my favorite blankets to do is the waiting blanket. The waiting blanket, the kits you can buy on Afrique Yarn. The pattern is also included when you buy the kit. So the pattern is from Raw Rustic. You can find her on Instagram. Excuse me, she makes the most beautiful things. And I bought those two kits. So my mom's kit is the summertime kit. This is the Raw Rustic kit. And the one thing that I love from this blanket is that it is really a meditative, enjoyable piece. On the go, you can take one ball and you can go to the doctor's office or wait for the dentist, or like me, sit like last night on the plane. This is what I was crocheting on. So when I fly on airline, I don't like to do pieces like, for instance, sock knitting. I am extremely scared they're going to take my needles away and that I'm not allowed to take those needles on the airplane. It's 2.5 millimeters and it's expensive needles. So having a 4.5 or a 4 millimeter needle, I know I'm safe. I've not had any issues going through the security with those type of needles. So this is a very safe project for me to do when I'm flying or going through airports. Maybe I have to tell you this one story. So when my mom was still in the hospital in ICU, I traveled every weekend to Cape Town. There was a time when I was there for a very long time, and then I had to come back to work, and then I would travel every weekend to Cape Town. So I was busy with my mom's blanket, having a ball of yarn with me to do one square. And I can't remember what happened, but I was winding the whole ball in a ball, so it comes like a cupcake. And I was sitting, and the flight we were lifting up the, what do you call it? What is the word now? When you start on the no, I can't think of words. Let me. All right. I was struggling to have the correct terminology. All right, so I had this ball of yarn in my bag, also a project bag, and with takeoff I was crocheting. And as I was crocheting, the ball went out of the project bag, and I was basically in front of the plane, and it rolled down the aisle to the back of the plane all the way. And the people was laughing. So it is just such a good memory for me. But anyway, so I love to take this type of project with me when I'm traveling or waiting in line or whatever the case might be. Anyway, so the yarn is from Moya, from Afrique Yarn, pattern from Raw Rustic. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. Wait, there it is. And I'm keeping one ball of yarn in my float tote bag, which is the pattern is from Knitty Natty. It will be linked in the details below. Yeah, so I'm on the first block, so I have still quite a way to go, but at least I've started. So I'm glad that I could pick it up and start this very special blanket, which will be for myself. All right, so that is my third whip. And then the last whip is a cowl that Moya Yarns is busy with currently. So the cowl's name is A Block a Day Keeps the Doctor Away. And now with us in South Africa having a level 4 lockdown, I just think it's such a great idea because, we can keep ourselves busy with crocheting. Isn't that the best? So they are saying, please use your own stash, whatever you have, and then it's a block a day. So I'm keeping this project also in a float tote. That previous one was a 1 skein. This is a 3 skein project bag from Knitty Natty, float tote bag, and I love this bag. I call this my African tote bag. At the bottom is like this. And I just grabbed a few yarns in my stash when I arrived last night. I couldn't wait to start this. So this pattern is available on Moya's Afrique Yarn website for 100 Rand. The cowl started on the 29th of June. It's running for 9 days. There's 9 blocks. And I grabbed a few browns and pinks from my stash. Let me show you. So there is Moya yarns in there, and there's Eco Fusion yarns in there from Nurturing Fibers. Yeah, so it's a what do you call it? Yeah, it's a mix of yarns. Anyway, so this is my first block that I made. I finished this morning. It's a very, very light, soft pink, pale pink almost. I didn't even work my ends away. That was not important because I wanted to start the second one, right? So I only started this afternoon just prior to F1 qualifying rounds. And Verstappen won. Yay. I'm a Verstappen and Red Bull fan. And F1 to me is really important. I love watching F1. Anyway, so this is my second block, which I'll be probably working on later tonight. Yes. So cannot wait to participate and catch up, because today I think is day 5 on the cowl and I'm only on day 2. But it's no sweat. You do it on your own pace. So the pattern is available on their website, so please have a look. Alright, so like I said, I'm using Moya shimmer yarn. There you go. Which is a bamboo and cotton mix. And then I'm using, let me see, then I'm also using Eco Fusion yarn from Nurturing Fiber, which also is a bamboo and cotton mix. And I think the browns and the pinks will just look so well together. I'm really excited. Yeah, I can't wait for the other blocks to come out. So Moya, thank you for creating that cowl. I think it's such a lovely idea to keep us busy in this level 4 lockdown. All right, I think that's all my whips. I have really little whips. Then, new acquisitions. I bought a pattern from Ravelry from another South African crochet designer, Julme Conradie. She is known as My Square Hat on Instagram. And her new pattern is like a scarf shawl, which is called Orchidelirium. It's beautiful. I will put a picture in here. So that's the one pattern I bought. I can't wait to crochet that. She's using one of my stitches that I love. My favorite crochet stitch is a moss stitch. I love moss stitch. And I know that pattern has that in, and yeah, it's a beautiful pattern. You should also watch her, all the other patterns. She's making beautiful things, really, or designing beautiful patterns. And she's South African. How awesome is that? All right, so that's the one pattern I bought. I bought the pattern for A Block a Day Keeps the Doctor Away cowl. That I bought. And then I bought pouches, bags. On Instagram, Wendy is known as Crochet Crazy Girl. Oh my goodness. And if you haven't seen her page, you just have to. It's like a burst of colors. She's making the most beautiful things. She's taking the most beautiful pictures. And together with her partner, Mark, Wendy is creating this beautiful bags. Look here. So I splurged and had to just get a few. Isn't this pretty? So I'm thinking I can do small projects in these bags. It's really so beautiful. Look at this. I just love this. Oh my goodness. My garden in the front has these type of plants. Isn't this just beautiful? And I think those are my 3 bags. Yes, so that is all from me this time around. All right, so there's one last thing. I have a big goal birthday coming up this week. I'm going to be turning 40 in this week, and I thought, let me grab something from my stash and share the love. It's a small thingy, but I thought, why not? So I would be giving this ball, cupcake ball, away. This rainbow cupcake from Kismet Yarns. They are discontinuing this, so it's like very hard for me to to share this, because I love this yarn. It's making the most beautiful shawls. So this is what I tend to use it for. And I've made small blankets, then I would use 2 of these in moss stitch. So this is really awesome to work with. You'll see it's a 4-strand yarn. It reminds me of Skepjes. What do you call that yarn again? The Skepjes yarn. I cannot remember now the yarn. Skepjes, Swool. Or Wools. Swool or Wools. It reminds me almost of that. So this is a rainbow. There's no color name or anything like that. But I want to tell you what is the yarn. So it is 50% cotton and 50% acrylic yarn. And normally when I do a shawl, I like to use a 4mm hook for this. And you can watch on my Instagram page the shawls I've made with this yarn. There's so many beautiful colors. Some people are too scared to work with this because they think it's going to be thin. And then when they get used to it, then they're like, oh my goodness, why didn't I use this before? And sometimes you would look at a cake like this and you would think, oh my goodness, this is not really pretty. But when it's worked up into a shawl, it's exquisite. Really, really beautiful. So I would be giving this away to anyone to celebrate my birthday. So if you want to participate, please leave a comment. And you can say anything, doesn't really matter. Please leave a comment, like the video, and then by the next episode I will announce the winner. Right, so it's the first time I'm doing anything like this, so I'm feeling a little bit anxious actually. Yeah, so I will be giving this from my stash. I think I've got like maybe 10 of this left in my stash, and I have really, for each one of this, I have some ideas. So it's difficult to part with one, I think. Maybe that's why I'm anxious. All right, so it was lovely that you spent time with me. Thank you that you created or that you spent your time with me today and that you've been watching up until now. Thank you for all the love that you give to me on every episode. I really, really appreciate that. I hope you will have a wonderful and blessed week. And then I will see you soon for the next episode. So up until then, stay blessed. Please stay safe. Stay home. You really do not want to experience the things that my family has experienced. And thank you so much to everybody that on Instagram that sends me direct messages and ask frequently how Mom is doing. It really means a lot. Maybe I can just tell you that Mom is doing well. She's a long way. It's still a long way for her up until she will be where she was prior getting sick. She still needs to walk. She's still on oxygen, but she was gifted life. And so for that, we are really, really grateful. And we have amazing people looking after Mom. The carers that is appointed to Mom is wonderful. The family that is there, we've got one family member that we've employed, which is amazing. And then the physiotherapist and the occupational therapist and the doctor that comes to visit Mom at home, they're all amazing, and we're so grateful for the support we are getting. And so please stay safe. So with that, have a blessed week until I see you again. Bye.